Hello everyone. If you're in the process of buying an ERP system for a manufacturing company, you will come across several options. They will appear similar and confusing, making your life harder to find an ERP that can help you accomplish your process optimization and efficiency goals. While it may be hard to discern the differences at the surface level, their design serves a specific customer group. Understanding these customer groups and their variables help understand the differences in these ERP software better. I am your host, Sam Gupta from Elevate IQ, and in this video, we will discuss these customer groups in detail and help you find your company's right ERP product. For simplicity, we only plan to discuss financially stable ERP publishers backed by financially sound companies. We have also isolated several other popular ERP companies that are not relevant for manufacturing. Before we start the ERP customer groups and their variables in detail, let's first understand companies' evolution and how their processes evolve as a result, driving the changes to their ERP system needs. Until $5 million in revenue in the startup phase, most companies conduct their operation through ad hoc processes. They might have 5 to 6 crucial employees, each with subject matter expertise in their functional areas. They might lead their departments independently, while only the president or the CEO maintaining the cross-functional knowledge across departments. Depending on the CEO's background, the CEO might focus on some areas more than the other, while laser focused on driving revenue. While the CEO may influence decision making, they will primarily rely on functional experts in how they want to run their departments. Also, since they can't afford to spend on large IT systems, each department will have its budget and choose a functional tool. For example, QuickBooks for accounting or Salesforce for CRM, while the remaining processes will mostly be paper-based. Since the price tag for consultants could be expensive, these tools will mostly be self-serve. The siloed culture, along with self-serve nature, results in process isolation and limits organization standardization. Besides, standardization could be counterproductive at this phase, as most functional experts will define the state of the processes and systems from their perspective. For instance, I perform a transaction in this manner, so I'll prefer the system to behave this way, creating the culture of self-centric approach to system design. If you're looking for an ERP system so you could be ready for the next phase of your growth, designing a plan with this self-centric approach will only fire back. An ERP system might be an overkill for such companies because of a lack of in-house skill set that brings process transformation expertise from larger organizations. Also, your lack of trust with an unfamiliar consultant and understanding of consultant service and their price tag might result in sunk cost with unfinished projects or without achieving expected outcomes. Unless you have a compelling reason to go for an ERP, such as regulatory overhead or consistent growth over the last 3 years, you are better off sticking to your current methods until you have grown $5 million to have an appetite to hire a consultant who can set you up for your next phase of growth. Once you reach the milestone of $5 million in revenue, most likely you will need to add a ton of skill sets in various departments. If you continue with the same approach of siloed and self-served culture after reaching this milestone, your problems could exponentiate as your key functional experts will not have enough time to train the new hires. And the new hires will bring newer perspectives and create processes that they are comfortable with. This isolated culture will lead to data silos and information barriers and process failure points. For example, if your VP of operations, who knows most about their function, is unavailable for a day, the team will get blocked. They will have to rely on him to provide the guidance. In contrast to this approach, the integrated ERP will keep the information behind decision making in the system and reduce dependency by asking the subject matter expert to make yes or no decision, which can easily be done on their phones, or the other person who might be up in the hierarchy may approve. The workflow and decision making would reside in the ERP as opposed to sitting in someone's head. In addition, these information silos are not limited to human resources, but they'll also be equally applicable to all isolated systems you maintain in your enterprise architecture. For example, if you have 5 functional experts in your organization and 3 isolated systems such as Salesforce for CRM, QuickBooks for accounting, Shopify for e-commerce, and maybe Ford's Fishbowl for inventory. In such a scenario, you have 9 information silos, which will have duplicate data, require admin effort to duplicate this data, and require consulting effort to merge the data points and provide reports that are meaningful for making business decisions. In the case of an integrated ERP, these reports are part of the transactions and your workflow, so you can access them at any point of time on any device, while also saving time with this overhead of admin efforts. Furthermore, it'll make you faster with your decision making and processes, leading to reduced cost and increased profit margins. The problem of isolated information silos is not limited to duplicate admin efforts or delayed insight. This issue will also lead to inaccurate inventory reporting and tracking, which will increase your losses and shrink profit margins further. While living on isolated systems is not an efficient strategy, especially once your departments start growing, living on a legacy system with a 20-year-old design could be equally worse. The reason why the legacy system is equally bad is that they create a similar culture of information silos. For example, if your old system does not support customer hierarchies aligned with your business processes or does not support complex routing steps as part of the BOM, you might be required to perform some of these processes manually or in a spreadsheet, which will create similar silos as it would in case of siloed systems. Additionally, the old systems were harder to use on different form factors, such as mobile. Even on the desktop, they were slow and inefficient. Their usability challenges will lead to the habits of withdrawing the system, which would mean keeping the information outside of the system, which is essentially the culture of information silos. By contrast, the newer integrated systems support the need of the business as of today, such as complex BOMs or producing multiple SKUs from the same BOM, backflushing material or labor to reduce the admin operational steps, or complex customer and vendor hierarchies to support the transactions and consolidated billing scenarios. Just to summarize, we have discussed 4 scenarios of companies that we most commonly see in the SMB space. Number 1, you might be completely paper-based in your startup phase with very few small self-serve tools. Number 2, siloed systems with very little integration among systems. Number 3, on a legacy inefficient integrated system. Number 4, modern integrated ERP system. Now that we understand this stage of different companies in the SMB space, let's talk about each product available for manufacturers and their market positioning. Vaguely, you may be able to divide the positioning of each product into 3 tiers: large, medium, or small. While some of these publishers may have exceptions of having very large or small accounts, they are designed for specific customer groups in mind. For example, the primary focus of SAP and Oracle as a company is for larger customers. That's how they are positioned in the market. That's where they spend their marketing dollars. These products are designed to be highly customizable and flexible, and assume that you will have in-house technical skills for their ongoing development and support. These products will have extremely deep technical capabilities to cover even the most complex requirements of an enterprise. However, they will lack the last mile functionality required for specific micro verticals, as these products need to cover larger companies in broad sectors. The ideal company size for these products would be over $1 billion in revenue or 1,000 employees in size. Microsoft follows a similar strategy. Their target market is larger customers. The way their products are designed, the ideal customers for them would be larger customers who can afford expensive implementation and maintenance or have in-house IT staff to support these enhancements on an ongoing basis. Even their smaller products would not be able to provide the last mile functionality that most small to medium sized customers require. In addition, Microsoft takes a very hands-off approach to how they handle their partners. So you might be getting a ton of partner-owned code for your crucial functionality, which increases the risks further. The medium-sized manufacturers, on the other hand, can't afford large implementations or expensive consultants. In addition, they don't have large IT departments to perform ongoing maintenance. What they need is a complete suite that can cover the majority of their needs out of the box. For mid-market manufacturers, two providers that offer their products in the suite approach are Infor and Epicor. They provide the last mile functionality that most mid-market manufacturers need. For example, Infor can provide last mile functionality such as failure mode and effects analysis, also known as FMEA, for the automotive customers out of the box. For mid-market manufacturers, Infor has very strong capabilities for several discrete micro verticals. They might also be very strong with the larger and unique industries such as process or fashion, but they might not be as strong for small process manufacturers. Epicor, on the other hand, seems to have a very large presence in the distribution and consumer-centric retail products. While they have a complete suite for manufacturers, they might lack specific last mile functionality required for specific micro verticals for which you might require add-ons or custom development. Infor is also backed by one of the largest manufacturing companies called Koch Industries, which makes them financially more stable than Epicor, which was sold by their investor to a smaller PE firm recently. If you are a mid-market manufacturer with $30 million to $1 billion in revenue or have 52,000 employees, Infor and Epicor would provide much more value out of the box and last mile functionality than most of the other ERP vendors in the large segment would. The smaller manufacturers are also unique with their needs. While they don't have large IT departments either to support custom development or maintenance, they don't need robust planning features that mid-market manufacturers need. In fact, their mid-market ERP systems could be unnecessarily complex for smaller manufacturers. They'll be harder to learn, and due to this issue, you might face similar issues as legacy systems, as your users might not use the system because of its complexity. Smaller systems such as Acumatica or NetSuite easier to use and could provide the add-ons for added complexity as you grow. These systems are ideal for customers who have never used an integrated ERP system before. Sorry, QuickBooks does not count. Or maybe under $30 million in revenue or fewer than 50 employees. Sage has a very unique position in the market as they are one of the strongest in their accounting and finance modules with multi-entity capabilities and are often recommended by accounting firms. While Sage could be strong for a lot of small food or process manufacturers, it will not be as strong for a small discrete manufacturer due to the lack of last mile industry functionality for specific micro verticals. Now that you understand the positioning of different products in the market, let's discuss some more things that are driven by the positioning of these products. For example, if a product targets larger customers, it would mean that they will spend more on caring for their larger customers. In other words, they will not care as much for you as you are not their bread and butter. Also, while prioritizing features or R&D spend, they will prioritize based on their larger customers in mind. Market share also dictates whether the product is designed from your perspective or not. The products that are designed for larger manufacturers in mind would not be as efficient for mid-market manufacturers. Similarly, the mid-market ERP products would not be as efficient for smaller manufacturers. The smaller manufacturers first need to understand how to use a small product before they are ready for a larger product. They also need a tiered approach to their pricing. Some smaller manufacturers may never use complex ERP functionality. So what is the point of getting billed for such functionality? That's why smaller products allow a tiered approach to their pricing. Now that you understand how the market positioning of various products affect whether they are suitable for you or not, make sure you consider their size as part of your decision criteria and buy a product that is appropriately sized for your organization. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Also, if you would like to see a deeper video on any of the topics discussed, or perhaps one that is customized for your business process, please post and we'll be happy to record them for you. If you need any extra help with your ERP implementation, please feel free to reach out to me directly on my coordinates and I'll be more than happy to guide you. Also, please feel free to connect on LinkedIn or Twitter. We share really exciting content on digital transformation, ERP, and marketing automation through our social channels. Once you add us or follow, you will always be updated with the latest and greatest content. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please ensure you hit the bell button after subscribing so you are notified with our newer videos right away. Also, if you like this content, please help spread the word out on social channel or quote us on your blog post. Thanks again and see you around.